Hi, y'all. Welcome to the 2020 school year. This is Mr. Garasco here. We're going to walk you through how to use Microsoft Teams and how to log in for the first day. So if you're starting from your desktop, the very first thing you're going to do is navigate down to the bottom left-hand corner and find that thing that says type here to search, and you're going to type in Teams to open up the Microsoft Teams desktop app. Once you navigate to that and you open up Teams, you're going to see a left-hand toolbar that has activity, chat. You're going to find Teams, and you're going to search for the class that you're joining for the first day. Some teachers might have you enter a join code, so in the upper right-hand side you see like where it says join or create team. You'll hit that and put in the code, and it should add it for you. Other teachers will have already added you, so we're doing the option of the teachers already added you. So find ELA instruction group for me, Miss Schumann, who is our student today. And if you hit that, you will see on your screen what a classroom might look like this school year. So you're going to start in the general room. This is, think of this like this is the classroom that you physically walk into each day. For the first day of school, what you're going to aim to do is wait until your teacher starts the meeting. So you want to wait until something pops up that says join. So on that first day, wait for that. I'm going to go ahead and start this meeting, and Ms. Schumann should see this on her screen pop up in just a moment. I'm connecting right now. And in a moment, all of my students will see on their screens popping up a button that says Join. And that's how you know that class has started, when you see your teacher has started a meeting, and you're going to go ahead and hit Join. Your teachers are going to ask for you to have your camera on to start class, and I'll turn my camera on so you can see me too. Hello. Go ahead and wave, everybody. So when you're in the classroom, another thing your teacher might ask you to do is mute your mic. So depending on if you have the new version of Teams or not, this toolbar might be at the bottom or the top, but it's the same button. So Ms. Schumann, if you want to go ahead and unmute your mic just to show people what that looks like and say hello.
Hello.
Great, and go ahead and mute it so you know what that looks like. Next to it is a button to turn off your camera. Your teacher might ask you to do that at certain points. Other functions that you have here are chat. So Ms. Schumann, if you want to go ahead and enter something into that show conversation thing, this might be a tool you use to like interrupt your teacher while they're talking, or maybe you want to contribute something but you don't think it's worth like, I don't know, raising your hand for or speaking up about, like you just want to say something small or whatever, or make a small contribution. Or maybe you want to echo the comment that someone said and say, like, I agree with what Ms. Prendergast said. So that type of thing. You can enter in the chat. Other function that you have in this toolbar is you can raise your hand. So if you have a question and you want to interrupt the teacher, go ahead, Ms. Schumann, and raise your hand. And so on my screen, I'm able to see that Ms. Schumann just raised her hand. It lights up. There's a little hand icon next to her, and I can say, Ms. Schumann, do you want to unmute your mic and ask your question? And she can unmute her mic and ask her question. Great. So that's the main functions of the general classroom that you'll use. Think of this again as you're walking into the room the first day. I'm going to ask for every one of my students to minimize the screen that they might have where they have the cameras up and navigate back to the other classroom. I think this might be a little different if you don't have the newest version of Teams, which we might create another video to help you out with. But you're going to go to, so for this portion, if you're on that home screen, you're going to see a conference room. So let's say I wanted to talk to Ms. Schumann privately as the teacher. I might say, hey, Ms. Schumann, meet me in the conference room. So she's going to go ahead and navigate to that on her screen, and I'm going to start that meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and hit meet, and in a moment on Ms. Schumann's screen, she will see it pop up with a button for her to join me. So waiting for it to connect. And so this is where a teacher might talk with you privately and say, hey, what are your thoughts on that paper? They might have you share your screen so that you can share something you've written with them, or there's a number of things that they might use this for, but this is where they would talk to you privately. Ms. Schumann, out of curiosity, do you have the share content button on your screen? So if she wanted to push that button, I'm not going to have her push it, but she could share her screen so she could show me like a piece of writing that she's doing or something on that toolbar. So that's another button that you might use. You could also use that in the whole class if maybe you were doing a presentation or something. So this is a private room, and I'm going to ask Ms. Schumann to hang up with this so that we can join everyone else in the general room back in the main classroom. So think of that conference room as like either the teacher has pulled you aside in the classroom or maybe pulled you out in the hall to have a quick chat with you or come over and sat next to you. Great. So then you'll resume the call and rejoin, and we're back in the classroom again with everybody else. And, oh, Ms. Schumann, why don't you go ahead and lower your hand? Because your icon's still up, so show people how to lower their hands. Just go back to that hand button and hit lower, and that'll make me know that you don't have a question anymore. Great, so that's one other option. And then if this is the general classroom, I do a little bit of lecturing, and then I say, why don't you guys head into your pod groups? So you can either minimize this call. Why don't you go ahead and minimize this call? And head to the group that has your name on it in that course page. So find your pod group. So Ms. Schumann, you're actually with Ms. Lehman and Mr. Mogg. So why don't you go ahead and navigate to that pod group, click on that, and I'm going to ask the first person to start the meeting. So if your name is first on this list of people, why don't you go ahead and start the meeting. In the upper right-hand corner, you should see a button that says Meet. So Ms. Schumann, why don't you start that meeting? And Mr. Mogg and Ms. Lehman should be in there with her. Are you guys heading in? Connecting. Okay. And everybody's in with her. And so that might be a space where a teacher sends you to talk privately with group mates to work on a project or whatever. Why doesn't everyone join me back in the general room? Your teacher will probably give you a time, or they might jump in and message you and say, think about wrapping up your conversation and joining us back in the main classroom or the general room. So this is the main thing that you need to know for day one. I'm just going to reiterate this one more time. Ms. Schumann, if you want to minimize the screen with the cameras. So this general room is like walking in on the first day of class. You are going to wait until there is a new channel meeting, and you are going to wait until your teacher starts that meeting, and you're going to hit join once that pops up. You do not want to use the button in the upper right hand corner that says meet, just because it's going to like sow confusion about like if there's multiple rooms opened, it's going to be very confusing. So wait for your teacher to start it. That's day one. That's some of the main tools of Teams, and hopefully that was helpful for you to get an understanding of how to navigate Teams. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Can't wait to work with y'all.